Do-do-do-do. 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 The creepy and the cookie, all a little hooky. We're ready for part 2 of the Addams Family. Hey guys, Steveo here for Movies and TVs on the Ball, and this is video number 2 for Barry Sonnenfeld's, the director of Men in Black's 1990s film, The Addams Family. This film was, and the reason why I'm doing this film is I think just because we talked about Street Fighters on our last video, and it starred Raul Julia. Raul Julia is in this film, who you know from Street Fighter, and also Christopher Lloyd, who plays Uncle Fester, and Angelica Houston, who plays Morticia, and I think she plays a really good Morticia. Then you have Christina Ricci from Casper play Wednesday, and then I can't remember who plays Pugsy. But Lurch, the guy who played Lurch, was the, if you remember Men in Black, he was the tall alien. He comes into the MIB headquarters and says, "I'm here for lunch," at the headquarters, and then ends up getting kicked in the throat by Edgar the Bug. He's a really good friend with Barry. This film was directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, the director of Men in Black and Get Shorty. And this film, I think, was more of, back in the 90s, they did, like early 90s, they did a lot of TV, kind of the same way they kind of did TV show movies with the 80s now. In the 90s, there was a lot of films based on 60s television shows that were kind of big. You had the Brady Bunch movie, came out in 1995, which was more about what would Brady's be like. You know, they're all in the 70s, but everybody else is in the 90s. Then you had Beverly Hills Belly, where there was sort of like they were getting. I've seen the Brady Bunch movies, but the Beverly Hillbillies, it was always like there's a character and then there's a bad guy. And in the Addams Family and Addams Family Values, which is a sequel, there is sort of a villain in a kind of a villain who wants to scheme. And in this film, you kind of get that. Basically, you had basically the story goes is Gomez Addams is looking for his long lost brother, who hasn't been around for a while. And they're kind of looking. He's kind of looking for him, and then this con woman played by, I can't remember who it's played by, but her sidekick is played by Cher's dad from Clueless. Come up with a scheme to get her son, who's Gordon, who is really Fester but is brainwashed. I don't know exactly how it works, but to disguise himself as Fester to basically infiltrate the Addams Family and get their gold and money. And this movie is a really fun, film. I think it works pretty well. After I've seen this movie before, but after watching the Addams Family's the television series, on which was my last video, I've noticed that this one was a lot more edgier for the 90s, from going from a 60s/50s show. Basically, in this film, basically Morticia and Gomez are thriving, or are fascinating in love with each other, even more so in the show, because and I think Angelica Houston plays an amazing Morticia. I kind of like how And then, so I guess she is Morticia. I really like their chemistry together, and speaking of Raul Julia, since we talked to him, Street Fighters, in any film he's done, especially this one, he goes all the way with kind of taking that character to the peak. I liked that so the story goes is um, they're looking for their lost long brother Fester Addams, who is Christopher Lloyd, but Fester Addams has been brainwashed struck by lightning, brainwashed to believe that he is this woman who's a uh, con artist who strives with the um, with Cher's dad, who is sort of the financial advisor for the Addams family. That they get all the doubloons, so they basically make Fester pretend to be her son Gordon, to be the son, be the long lost Adams's brother, to kind of reap the fortune. And it's kind of the same. But what I liked about this film is I liked the fact that this movie is just kind of creepy, and it makes it sort of gives it PG-13 when PG-13 really meant something. Like there's a scene where Pugsley and Wednesday say, let's play a game, and she straps Pugsley into an electric chair and says, we're gonna play a game called Is There a God? And to electrocute him. And I really love Christina Ricci as Wednesday. I think she does a really good job. I think she's in the Netflix television series Wednesday, which is sort of a spin-off of the Addams Family. And I think Catherine Zeta-Jones plays Morticia. I haven't seen it. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. But I really like their dynamic together. You had Lurch. I think Lurch is a really good like butler and kind of character, but really the stars of it is Raul Julia and Ever After. Raul Julia and Angelica Houston. They really have the chemistry that they are madly in love with each other, and it works really great. I thought this film really works pretty great. It's fun. It's it's kind of daring, but it's kind of cynical and satire, and it works pretty well with that. I think Christopher Lloyd is like even though he's kind of more the main focus of the film, I think he brings so much to Uncle Fester that he's Uncle Fester, because after watching him in the pilot episode of the 60s television series, Fester in the 60s television series kind of reminded me a little bit like Curly from the Three Stooges. But he's very much, and they're sort of that, mother, trying to be a mama's boy, and the mother being really more the bad guy. I think it worked pretty good. I like the fact that, this film works really well with kind of they show a party, and we see like these two twins, and of course Fester has no idea who these people are, and he's more focused on the vault. But then there's a scene where Gomez is really is excited that he's found his brother, and there's a scene where they're doing this Russian hut where he's throwing knives at him, which is pretty cool. I really like this film. I think nostalgia goggles on. I give it probably an 8 or 9. I think it works pretty good. I think Raul Julia, and this is kind of Raul Julia, who was so great as M. Bison in Street Fighters. What I love about him is he gives 100% as any role he's done, in these two roles that I've seen him in, he's done a really good job of bringing that to the character. I like their relationship with Angelica Houston. I like there's a scene where after they end up getting kicked out of the house because of the will and Fester being owner of the house, they have to kind of make ends meet. So Pugsley and Wednesday are selling lemonade at a lemonade stand, and this little girl in her Girl Scout cookies, with a girl in a Girl Scout uniform and Girl Scout cookies, she's like, "How about I give you? You can buy 6 of my delicious Girl Scout cookies," and like she might say chocolate chip or something, "and I can drink your precious lemonade." And I like Christina Ricci. She's so deadpan in that scene where she says, "Are they made from real Girl Scouts?" And it's funny, and I think she's got that wit. And I really liked how when they get kicked out of the house, Gomez is sitting on when the heroes kind of fail, he's sitting watching Sally Jesse Raphael. And he kind of ends up getting up the strength and getting back to house. And I like the way it worked. I think it's kind of creepy. It's ooky. They're a little bit spooky, but there's something to it. I really feel like this film, Addams Family, and maybe Beetlejuice, which both films actually ended up having an animated show back in the 90s as well. This would be a great double feature. Maybe do Addams Family, Beetlejuice, Addams Family Values, Beetlejuice 2. That double feature, triple, four, or quadruple feature for these films, because both of them really work in their way. I think Barry Sonnenfeld has that really good humor. But that is my look at Addams Family. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the Addams Family movie with Raul Julia. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Did you grow up with it? Did you grow up with the animated television series? What was your thoughts on Angelica Houston as Morticia, Christina Ricci? Have you seen the new Wednesday show on Netflix? Let me know what your comments on that as well. But as always, I'm Steve, and see you at the movies. Bye.